Hello friends, Koolio here, and welcome back to the channel. Today guys, we are checking out the official Android launch for Game of Thrones Beyond the Wall. Now this game was supposed to come out on Android on April 3rd, but it actually came out 2 days earlier on April 1st, sort of like a nice surprise, maybe not a nice surprise, depending on how you feel about the game itself. The game has been available for a couple of days though on the iOS platform and just launched onto Android. Now I will let you guys know, my overall impressions of this game is I am kind of disappointed, but I'm not as disappointed as I initially thought I would be. There are a couple of things within this game that I actually really enjoy. Now, I was actually going to end up playing this game about 8 months ago for a sponsored video. However, the developers felt like the game needed some more time and some more polish, and it definitely feels a lot more polished than it did when I initially played it. So I am kind of excited about that the game definitely feels a lot more polished than before. Now, the two main things that I think kind of are the highlights of this game and make this game worth investing, worth even playing if the other things don't drive you away, because there are some things in this game that will most likely end up driving you away, but there are two things that kind of help the game without its problems. The first thing is I've been really enjoying the story. The story is actually really well written and pretty cool as you follow a couple of members of the Night's Watch as they go up north beyond the wall to investigate what the wildlings are doing, the free folk, and it's a pretty interesting, kind of a mysterious story, and I've been really enjoying that. I kind of like the fact that we get this story where we can go and experience more of the world of Westeros and Essos. However, that kind of leads into one of the biggest problems of this game is the game is so quiet during these moments of story. Like, I understand it can cost a lot of money to hire voice actors and put in voice acting for all of this dialogue, but can you at least add in music or even like background sound effects, like the wind rustling through the trees, the howling of wolves? Like, there was a part where my characters were like talking in front of a fire. Let me hear the fireplace, you know? It feels so quiet. It breaks the immersion and honestly makes this pretty dang good story just kind of like a chore to get through because it just feels empty. Like it feels like an empty picture that you're looking at. I don't know. That's just kind of like one of my main problems with this game is the game it's so quiet during like those story moments. It doesn't feel immersive. Now, I do want to talk about one other thing before we get into some more negatives about this game. Is I do think one of the biggest highlights of this game is what's known as the legendary events. I've actually been really enjoying this because there are, and I hope they continue to do this later down the line, but basically they've got Jon Snow, they got Daenerys Targaryen here. These are some pretty iconic characters from Game of Thrones. And a lot of people are going to want to collect them as heroes and add them onto their teams, and especially people that have never played these gacha games before. These are the characters that we relate to, not the simple-minded, side story characters that we get through the actual game. People want these characters. And the cool thing about it is once you complete the first story mission for any of these hero characters, and I hope they continue to do this through the main, for future legendary events, you will immediately unlock those characters. And I think that is a fantastic thing to do. Because I'm going to let you guys know, the summoning rates for this game are terrible. Absolutely terrible, okay? Like, they're really bad, but I can forgive them for the fact that once you complete the first story missions within these legendary events, you immediately unlock Daenerys and you immediately unlock Jon. So yeah, that's a really big plus for me, and I think for a lot of Game of Thrones fans that you'll be able to unlock these characters like right up front. Now let's actually jump back in Beyond the Wall and continue through the story itself, and I'll talk a little bit about the gameplay. Now, I'm a pretty big fan of grid-based combat, the strategies that come behind it and everything like that. The grid-based combat in this game is actually, it's pretty simplified compared to, say, War of the Visions, Final Fantasy Brave Exvius that just came out. Most of the time, there's no elevated, platforms and stuff for like advantages for archers. I don't think there's extra bonuses attacks when you attack enemies from behind. And honestly, the only obstacles you're ever really going to come across, every single map is pretty much the exact same, except for a few dotted areas here and there that have obstacles behind it. Now, when you do jump into a specific map like this, you can go ahead and decide which of your units you want on your team, or you can just press the button that's right there and it'll equip your strongest units. The auto gameplay is unlocked right up front, and then once you complete, I believe, Chapter 1, you unlock ×2 speed. For games like this, when it comes to hero collecting, a lot of people enjoy the fast auto speed, ×2 speed. You can kind of get through things really quickly. grind, just get to the main story. I'm not too worried about the actual gameplay. I just hope that when we get into higher levels or let more legendary events and stuff like that, that the tactics of this game will begin to actually shine a lot more than I've experienced in the actual campaign story itself. Because basically, just turn on auto gameplay, your characters will push through the story. Me personally right now, I'm more invested in learning what the story is rather than the actual gameplay. Again though, I'm hoping that later story events, legendary events and stuff like that will be a lot more challenging. Now they do have challenges that you can participate in. They have big boss battles and stuff too that the community can kind of work together to get special rewards and stuff like that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and skip the story again. I don't want to end up spoiling anything for you because I do think it's a pretty interesting story and I do recommend you guys going through and reading it. I will probably have to go back through and see if I can't read through those stories a few more times. Now, I am glad that the developers did push this back. I do wish the game would have come out a lot earlier. I think a lot more people would have enjoyed the game more, or a lot more people would have ended up playing the game if, it came out closer to the ending of the TV series. Now, there is a lot of content in this game right now, so I am glad that they push it back because there is a lot of stuff to do. Challenges, legendary events, there's expeditions you can send your troops on, there's like these crazy challenges that you can go through. There's a lot of stuff to do in this game. Now let's go ahead and we're gonna talk about character progression. Pretty straightforward. You get books that you can use for your, your warriors, your soldiers that you have right here. Now the soldiers are separate from your heroes, and there's different materials that you need for your soldiers and different materials that you need for your heroes. So for example, this guy right here, his name is, he's part of the Knights of the Vale. You can go through, you can spend your books to level them up. You also need specific, you need specific fragments and shards for those characters in order to upgrade them. I know some people aren't the biggest fan of shards in this game. As long as I can get the hero up front first, not have to collect shards to unlock them, I'm okay with it. I'm not the biggest fan of shards, you guys know me, but as long as I can get the hero first, I don't mind having to go through and get shards, upgrade them. I just hate the fact that I go and do summons and I get 5 shards for Daenerys. I don't even have her and I still need 45 more to unlock her. It's stupid. The other thing you can do, you can go and spend materials that you get from, playing through the game, resources to upgrade specific parts of those characters. Instead of having to go out and collect weapons for those characters, you just get materials that you need to upgrade what they already have. So pretty straightforward, everything there. There is unit traits. I think they're pretty similar to the hero traits. Let me go ahead and show you that real quick. If we head on over to the Hearth, these are all the heroes that you can collect in the game. There's actually a fair amount so far. I've only got 5 as of right now, but if we go ahead and take a look at Alvar Spire, there are hero traits at the bottom. I do like this system. I like horizontal progression in this game, but as you go through and these characters level up and progress, they get trait points, which you can then go and upgrade 2 specific paths, either devastating, undaunted for this character. For example, if I were to go to Jon Snow, his are actually different. If I wanted him to be more aggressive, more attack focused, I'd go for the aggressive trait line. If I wanted him to be more focused on defense capabilities, I would go through the devastating. So I do like that sort of horizontal progression for these characters. It's pretty cool. There are these things known as tactic cards. Tactic cards, basically what you can do is you can equip them onto specific heroes and they give them specialized bonuses. So for example, Rain of Arrows will give him increased offensive bonuses, health bonuses, and then amplification level at the end of each ally phase, deal damage equal to 12% of offense to all enemies. So another way that you can kind of go through and augment all of the different characters' abilities. Now, there is a lot of stuff in this game. There's PvP, challenges, boss battles. There's a whole bunch of new player events going on right now that you can get a whole bunch of rewards. But let's go ahead and see if we can't do a couple of summons. I think I've got enough. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just do a 10-time summon real quick. And we got a couple of shards. We unlocked the Winterfell Rider. And we got ourselves the Snakewood Scout and the Oath Keeper of Tarth. So we got some shards. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of shards. Those are mainly for heroes. And then we got some shards for units. But I'm okay with the fact that you can unlock units right up front. I'm still not the biggest fan of shards. But let me go ahead and show you guys something that honestly was going to make me really, really mad until I found out I unlocked the character completely for free simply by playing through the legendary event. But it is a 1% chance to unlock Daenerys Targaryen in the drop rates. Okay, she's some kind of legendary hero in this game. Well, if you want to get a basic hero, it's 1.7%. Those are awful rates, absolutely terrible rates, but I feel like they're a little bit alleviated by the fact that, I got Daenerys through the legendary event, I got Jon Snow through the legendary event, I'm okay. So let me know your guys' thoughts. Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm not as disappointed as I thought I would be. I've been enjoying my time. It's just there's things here and there that just really break up the gameplay for me. So let me know your guys' thoughts down below. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Okay, friends, my name's Koolio, and I'll see you next time.